And welcome, Kayfabers, to this episode of Hell in the Cell Results. Now, I'm your host, Dr. Dapper. I'm sorry to say that CJ and Jess won't be here. They had some prior engagements coming up, but the show must go on. So, we're just going to get right into it. The kickoff show for Hell in the Cell was the Hype Bros versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. So, with that being said, it was a good match. It wasn't anything great. Wasn't bad. It was just it was the kickoff show. Pretty much we're just gonna go right into it. The Hype Bros, they do what they normally do best. They pump each other up. You got Mojo Riley, who really is the hype part of the Hype Bros. But, he's doing great like he always does in the beginning, taking control. And then, Zack Ryder comes in, struggles a little bit, but he does all right. The one thing that I wish we could see is the bro kick. We never see it anymore, or the broski kick, whatever he calls it nowadays. We never really see it, and I feel like this whole match was nothing but let the Hype Bros job out to Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, showing you how strong they are as a team with their wrestling background. Shelton Benjamin being, I believe, he was an All-American in college, and Chad Gable being a gold medalist or a bronze medalist in the Olympics. That's all it was. It was just showing that even though Jason Jordan's not there, they're still kind of like the Steiner brothers. Which, I like them. I kind of wish they would have done Shelton Benjamin and Jason Jordan as a team, but that's just my own thought process. It would make more sense storyline wise, having the Olympian be the Olympian's son, and having the intensity of Jason Jordan and Shelton Benjamin just dominating the tag division. But that's enough of that. The next thing we're going to go into is probably the best match on the card. It defined Hell in the Cell. You have the New Day versus the Usos. Now with this, you have, you got the Usos calling out the Uso Penitentiary. It's, just commentary-wise, promo-wise, wrestling-wise, all around great match. You still get the New Day coming in, doing the gimmicks, doing the comedy bits with the kendo sticks and then the rainbow kendo stick. You have the multiple Francescas where he's just unloading on the Uso brothers with the trombones. And then they come out with the comedy bit with the horn, busting out the New Day Rocks theme. Some of the highlights of this match, I thought, was one, they're showing how strong Big E is. Eventually they're probably going to break up this tag team. If so, Big E needs a singles push. He's way too dominant to be not stuck in the tag division, but left in the tag division. So the second memorable moment I know of was Xavier Woods using the kendo sticks to pin one of the Uso brothers to the wall by just sliding it through the fence railing, and pretty much imprisoning him and unloading with kendo sticks on him. Usos return the favor when they handcuff Big E to the bottom rope in the corner, while they handcuff Xavier Woods, hands behind his head over the turnbuckle, and just unloading blow after blow, home run swings, beating him. It looked bad. He tried to have a couple hype up moments where he's hulking out per se, but it's just no use. He doesn't stand a chance against the double kendo sticks. But it was brutal to watch. Chair shots, kendo sticks. They didn't do any tables, even though the crowd kept chanting for tables. But steel stairs or steel steps, handcuffs. You name it, they did it. They put their bodies on the line. But all at the end of the day, it's the Uso Penitentiary, and the Usos go over. It was just a great match overall, I thought. Um, then you got Randy Orton versus Rusev. I mean, storyline kind of came out of nowhere, to be truthful with you. Um, Randy Orton's absorbing and just living in this RKO out of nowhere thought process, just beating Rusev one night after the other. Rusev does pretty well when he has Aiden English on his side, but during this match, it was the Bulgarian Brute dominating for the most part, starting to kind of wear down Randy Orton. A couple hope spots here and there, but all in all, that RKO came out of nowhere and Orton won. I don't understand what the premise of Orton going over on Rusev. I don't know what they're trying to build up from that. We'll just have to wait and see on SmackDown where they go forward. But, I mean, he's the Bulgarian Brute. They need to keep him strong, especially since he's been out for a while. The next match for the U.S. title, or U.S. Championship, you got AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. But wait, Daniel Bryan added Ty Dillinger to make it a triple threat, which ultimately means that they're going to relinquish the belt to somebody just so AJ can look strong and not lose it. Because like they always say, in any triple threat, fatal four ways, things like that, the moment that bell rings, there is no champion. There's no champion's advantage. There's no disqualification. No countouts. I mean, the champ just can't walk away and retain the title. But it was overall a decent match. You could tell that AJ was kind of carrying everything. He was dominating Baron Corbin, going strong. Occasionally they would throw in Ty Dillinger with AJ, going back and forth against each other when Baron's on the outside the ring. Baron Corbin then would get double teamed by AJ and Ty. It was just overall a good solid match. I'm not a fan of triple threats for that fact that the champion has no advantage. But the ending, I mean, was just true heel fashion. AJ Styles does a 450 splash on Baron Corbin, kind of knocks him down. Then pretty much when it goes down to AJ and Ty, AJ throws one of his finishers at Ty Dillinger, and then Corbin kind of swoops in and steals the pin. I mean, it is what it is. It was an okay match for what they were trying to do. I don't know if Baron Corbin is definitely champion material right now. I feel like he's still green. He's still working towards it. He has a lot of potential. Hopefully, by giving him the title, he can be a true heel champion, is what I'm hoping for. I don't know what they're going to do with AJ Styles. Hopefully, this gets him out of the mid-card belt range, puts him up towards the championship range for world title, universal title, if he jumps ship on to go to Raw. I mean, overall, it was a decent match. Better than the kickoff show. So far, though, not better than the tag team match. Let's see. The next match. I was a fan of this match. I know not everyone was because of the finish, but the SmackDown Women's Championship, Natalya versus Charlotte. Now, you all know that I am a huge Natalya fan. I love Charlotte, but I like Natalya's story. I like her back history. I like that she's kind of like the underdog, gave up on being the babyface to turn heel because playing it safe and playing it fair doesn't get you anywhere, as we know from faces turning heels. Overall, it was a decent match. I mean, we've seen Natalya, we've seen Charlotte go at each other over and over again numerous times. Like I always say, though, the babyface always becomes naive and ignorant of interference. Now that Natalya is a heel, she's not falling for those things. But, I mean, just because Natalya has the experience and the veteranship that she does, she focuses on the body parts. She focuses on Charlotte's leg. Everyone knows that during pay-per-views, Charlotte does the big flip off the turnbuckle. By attacking the leg, she's taking that out of the equation. So we think. But Charlotte's still able to pull off the move, showing with injury, but the one thing I didn't understand is I would have personally loved a finish where Natalya injured the leg and Natalya started doing the figure four. I think it's a huge heel move, and it would be great. Not so much that she taps and gives up, but just throw it in there. I mean, you're a heel. Take the finish of your opponent. But I did love the heel ending with Natalya being disqualified for taking a chair to Charlotte. I think that is a great heel way to lose. I wish it would have showed more of Natalya on the ropes, being desperate to want to use the chair. But I mean, they kind of made it look like it was a 50-50 match the whole way, and Natalya's just like, I'm done with this. But overall, I'm happy with the results. I love Natalya. I think she deserves to be champion for a little bit longer. Charlotte's got to work her way up. I mean, she's a babyface. You gotta make the audience feel for you. And so, this loss is gonna make them feel for you. They're gonna make you want to come back and win the title on the next pay-per-view. But overall, it was a pretty good match. Now, shocking is the Jinder Mahal Shinsuke Nakamura match for the championship, the WWE championship. Now, mind you, out of the 8 matches on the card, this I believe was number 6. The WWE championship did not close out the show. But with seeing who's in it, I mean, you got Jinder Mahal, obviously then the Singh brothers, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, Jinder's just not doing it for me. He never have. He never was. I feel that I hope that they don't have Baron Corbin end up being like Jinder. I just don't feel like Jinder was ready for the title shot. I get what they're doing. I wish they kind of did a mid-card push with him. A mid-title push. But, I mean, obviously we're going into India. We got to have an Indian champion. They did it with the Great Khali as well. But I just wish that they would have been able to do that. Or at least let Nakamura show off his skills that he had from New Japan Pro Wrestling. But, I mean, throughout this match, you get the typical Jinder Mahal match of Nakamura, the opponent of Jinder's, being dominant, showing his dominance over Jinder. Occasionally, Jinder will come in and out with just overall strength dominating his opponent. But the strength never gets the job done, as we've seen numerous pay-per-views. So, what happens? The Singh brothers. I mean, during Nakamura's comeback, the Singh brothers distract him. And I believe, if I remember correctly, they were ejected. But ultimately, this distracts Nakamura, and he gets the Colossus at the end, going over clean in the center. I mean, next to Alexa Bliss's DDT, the glorious DDT, and Sister Abigail, the Colossus is one of the most over and saved finishes. It's right there with the F5. I don't know why they're having great wrestlers like Nakamura jobbing out to Jinder. I wish they would have done kind of more of a heelish victory. I really want to know why they don't just have Jinder Mahal cheat and be disqualified, or just take his belt halfway through the match and walk away and be counted out. It's a great heel way to lose the match, but yet retain the title, instead of just constantly getting beat up and then having the Singh brothers swoop in for the save. I just don't get why they won't do it. It makes his matches look mundane, repeated over and over and over. And that's why the WWE Championship wasn't even the main event. But that's besides the point. It was just mediocre at best. But, I mean, I was just happy to finally see the ref throw the Singh brothers out. That's just... It should have been happening a long time ago. Usually now that means once the interference starts to be thrown out of the matches, now we're starting to see the title going to change. And that's what I'm hoping for. But once we got that match over, the next match I hoped was going to be the match of the night. It had such potential. Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler. I mean, it's the coolest part of the whole thing was Dolph Ziggler's entrance of no music, no sound, no lights, no gimmicks. His new way of life. Um, I love it. It's an old school way of coming to the ring. But I mean, I hoped that he would have come out the way he did, and Bobby Roode would have come out the way he does in NXT takeovers, coming down from the ceiling, spotlight, Opus, chorus singing in the background, glorious, just something, you know. But overall, it wasn't a bad match. I mean, it was kind of hit or miss, back and forth, like most Ziggler matches are. Um, I was honestly kind of surprised that Ziggler was pulling on the choke, the rear naked choke, or just the chokehold in general, as it's known in WWE. But he was putting it on, just draining them, just going back and forth, back and forth. He does his typical zigzag move that never goes over. But I mean, Ziggler's a great wrestler. He's a great worker. Bobby Roode's a great worker. I just wish they would have shown a little bit more, and they would have had a better finish for the match. I love the fact, though, that at the end it shows Ziggler trying to cheat to win, which isn't a bad way to do it. He's a heel. Heel wins. I didn't like how they kept rolling up, roll up, until Bobby Roode gets the roll up, grabs a handful of tights for the victory. But I mean, I guess it kind of shows that Roode does what he has to do to win, which is fine. But it's just a little much. Obviously, once the match was over, Ziggler throws down a zigzag over him after the bell and walks away. I mean, obviously the feud's going to keep going. It's not over yet. Hopefully they continue forward with this, giving it a better chance for a better match. It had such potential, and I felt like it just fell short. Especially after following the WWE Championship match, the roof was wide open to steal it. They just weren't able to. Now we come to the last match, the main event, Shane versus Kevin in a steel cage Hell in the Cell. Now, with this match, I had a great build-up. I love the fact that Vince McMahon is involved, because now they're involving family, and he gets the headbutt. The strong style headbutt. Cut open. I mean, when's the last time someone ever touched Vince and made it work? Steve Austin. I feel like Kevin has a lot of Steve Austin traits, just that I don't care mentality, and that's what I love about him. And so I hope this goes, I don't think it's going to go further with Shane and Kevin, but it might do Kevin McMahon's, just to kind of branch him off into that Austin category. But overall, I mean, your typical Shane McMahon high spot move. We did the coast to coast. They finally introduced the tables. I mean, I was kind of hoping that Shane wouldn't have wanted to climb up to the top of the ring, or the top of the cage to jump off, redoing his match with The Undertaker. I thought when they were both on the top of the Hell in the Cell that they were going to powerbomb someone through, recreating the Mick Foley incident. But obviously that didn't happen. But it was just interesting. Some little things I noticed throughout this match is you're locked in the cell. It's Hell in the Cell. Why won't you stay inside the cell? And then, if you are inside the cell, why do they have bolt cutters as a weapon choice? So you can just cut your way out. It shouldn't be that way. The heel, I believe, should be able to, because the heels are cowards and they run. But why would the babyface call him out? And then you have a false count anywhere, no disqualification kind of deal. But you're in Hell in the Cell, there's no disqualification anyways. Doesn't make sense. But the crowd was chanting tables. We finally got the tables. They're recreating the Undertaker moment. Kevin Owens was sprawled out on the table, And here's the shocker. Sami Zayn turns heel, ladies and gentlemen. Turns heel. And saves Kevin Owens. Obviously, it was foreshadowed when Sami was saying, "Hey Shane, you don't know Kevin like I do. This isn't the Kevin you're used to." He snapped, "Be careful," and Shane's just like, "Back up, out of my face, get out of my way," kind of thing. But it was a great spot. Kevin Owens goes over for the win because Sami Zayn assisted, and pretty much said, "Ref, get out here, count him out," and so on. I'm looking forward to seeing Sami as a heel. I don't know how it's going to work, but I love the fact that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are back together as friends. That such great potential for storylines. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good match. I wish they didn't do the same Shane McMahon high spot. I wish they would have done something different. But, I mean, to get that storyline across of Sami Zayn turning heel, I don't really know of any other option. So, overall, I was very pleased with this match. I felt the 2 Hell in the Cell matches, which it should have been, but those 2 matches stole the show. Overall, I thought it was a great pay-per-view. I hate to say it to CJ and Jess, but Dr. Dapper has retained his championship to now becoming the 2-time and longest reigning podcast predictions champion. But overall, it was a great pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to the next pay-per-view for Raw. I believe it's coming out in like a couple weeks. Well, by the time this is posted, coming out in like the end of this week. But overall, it's going to be a great time. This is your champion. Just letting you know, it's going to be a long reign. Be prepared, CJ and Jess. Just try and take it, because you can't touch it. I'm on a roll. I finally broke the streak of losses for SmackDown pay-per-views. It's a good day. It's glorious.